Welcome to Code with Patrick. Let's talk about Recyclerview. For a moment, Recyclerviews, is a view which groups several items and display them in vertical scrollable lists. You know, um, the Recyclerview is more advanced and flexible version of list view, as you may see. Some of you are already familiar with the list view, but it's just recycler view is a kind of an advanced one, advanced level of the list view. So without taking much time, let's see how we can create this um, recycler view. And we're going to add item by creating an adapter class, and we're going to create a model class, and just put everything all together. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to do right now is to go to my XML. I've created a demo project, okay, for this tutorial. So you want to go ahead and create your own project, and once you do that, you want to come down here to the main activity, and in here I'm going to split. I'm going to split this into two, and I see my screen here. So what I want to do, I just want to get rid of this. I'm just going to take a constraint layout. We don't need this constraint layout right now, so I'm just going to use a relative layout just to keep it simple to understand. And after doing that, you're not done. We want to get rid of this text view. We're not doing nothing with text view today, rather than main anyway. So what we want to do right now is just to call the view Recyclerview right here. So I'm just going to call in the Recyclerview, and I'm just going to give and then for the height, I'm going to give it match parent. So I want it to fill up the whole screen, okay? So everything we're going to be having is just going to be everywhere on in here. Alright, that's the only thing we gotta do. Not really. Okay, so I'm forgetting something. So one thing you gotta add here is your ID. Okay, this is the ID we're using to reference this in the main activity. So right here, I'm just gonna call this Recycler. Okay, you understand. That's more simple, and close the tag, and that's all you gotta do right here. So nothing so much happening here. So let's go into the main activity and reference this. So I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna call the Recyclerview, and that's gonna be imported. Okay, the Recyclerview, and I want to give this Recyclerview. Let me call it Recyclerview, and just to keep it that way. Once you do that, the next thing you want to do is just to reference it down here. So I'll call the Recyclerview, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find it by the ID from the XML layout. So here I have array.id, and I'll call Recycler. I guess that's what I used up there. So now go, we're good to go. We're very, very good to go. This has been referenced down to the main activity, and here we are. But that's not all, because what we want to create is just like a list of fruits. Okay, we want to display those fruits in a Recyclerview. So what we're gonna do right now is to create an adapter class. For the adapter class is just gonna hold the item that this Recyclerview is gonna be displaying. So that's basically what adapter class is doing. It's just holding each of the item, pass them into the Recyclerview. The Recyclerview right now has the ability to display each of those items, in a vertical form, just like I said earlier. So let's go and create a new class here for our adapter class. So I'm just going to come up here and click new, and then I'll click on the class, and I'll call this fruits, because we want to create a list of fruit, right? So I'm going to call this fruit adapter. Fruit adapter is okay by me, so I'm going to double click this. Alright, so that's cool. That's pretty much it. It's been created. So there's something we got to do here right now. But before we do that, before we do an extension right here, or, doing whatever thing we want to do right here, the one thing we want to do is we want to create how each of those items is going to look like, okay, in the Recyclerview. So what we want to do right now is to come up here go down to the rest folder and click on the recycler, and here I want to right click, and I'm going to just create a new resource layout file. And that file will be created, and I'm just going to call this fruit item. Okay, let me just keep it that way, fruit item, and I'll just click OK. So what I want to do here is to come to the split, and I'm going to remove this constraint layout and go again with the relative layout. And right here I want to put in my text view, so we're just going to be having a text view. You can have more view depending on what you're doing. Right now I want to keep it basics so that you can understand fully how it works before you can, create more advanced stuff. And here we want to go to match parents, and I'm just going to wrap contents for the height. Okay, so just to make you see something written down so you know how to with the Recyclerview, we just want to put a simple text here like let me say apple. Okay, and you can see that's too small, so we're gonna set the size, and we're gonna set the size to 25, and this down that point and not DP, so that it can maintain the screen pixel of any phone the app will be installed into. And here we have the apple, and we can see it's very close to that plate, to the edge of the left corner. What I want to do is to set the margin top, margin. Oh, let me just set the padding. Okay, let me pad it. Just padding, and I'm just gonna set it to 8. And we're gonna have it that way, so it's padded from the right, left, top, and bottom. And that's basically it. And yep, don't forget to give it an ID. And I'm just gonna call this I'm gonna call those names. Let me call it names. Okay, pretty much simple. Alright, so that for the item, because we're gonna be making use of this in our adapter class. So that's why I wanted to create it first before we continue with the adapter class. So right now we have it, we can now move down to our adapter class. So right here in the fruit adapter, we want to extend Recyclerview. Okay, because the adapter and the Recyclerview are gonna be, working hand to hand. And so we want to extend Recyclerview.adapter, and in here we want to pass in the view holder. The view holder is the one that's going to be holding each of those items. For now, we're just having a text view. There'll come a time where you have different view in that particular fruit item layout. You might be having a display of the picture as well, where you have to make use of the image view. You might be having just a different view, and this is where we have to pass in view holder. This holder is going to be holding each of those view in that particular section. And so what we're going to do here right now is we're going to call the fruit adapter dot view holder. So don't worry about this, we're going to be creating this class very soon. So what we have to do is just put your mouse pointer right there, and hold down your alternate and your enter key to implement the methods that comes with that. You can see the method that comes with that is the onCreate view holder, the onByte view holder, and the get item count. So just click OK to import all those methods. Alright, so just come down below the get item count, okay, method, and here we want to create this view holder class we have right here. Like I said earlier, this view is going to be holding every view of a particular container. And so I'm just going to come right here and call in a public, create a class, public class, and I'll call this the view holder. Now this view holder is going to be extending Recyclerview. Okay, Recyclerview that view holder. And now we have to actually create a constructor, and you can easily just do that by holding down your alternate and click enter. And here we have it created now. So each of this item view contains when we go back in this fruit item with a simple, if we are creating a more intermediate or advanced level of recycler items, we can have 10 items in just one view. Okay, we can have the fruit and we can have the image view of that particular fruit. So what happens is when you come into the adapter, the fruit adapter, this is where you have to reference each of that. So I'm just going to come down here and just above right here I'll call in a text view. For now we're just working with a text view, so I'm just going to call the text view name, which is the name of the fruit. Okay, so here I'm going to reference the fruit, the particular item. So here we're going to call in the item view, and we're going to find the view by ID, ID, and then give it a name. And I don't think that's what I used. Okay, names. Let me just call this name. Remove the X. Okay. So we go back here. That's name. Alright, so that's pretty much cool. So if we have any other thing like image view or whatever, we can do all that in here. But for now, we just have a name of that particular item. Okay, so let's go up here and call in the onCreate method. What we want to do right here is to create a view for that particular class that reference goes down to this particular fruit item. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna call in view, and then I'll call in the layout inflator, and I'll call this dot from this context, okay, which is the activity that we're on. I forgot to create a constructor for this, so let's go ahead and create a constructor. So we're going to be having two different items. Here I'm going to have the context first of all. This one is going to be referencing getting the context of the particular class we'll be making use of. We're going to be using this fruit adapter in. And the second one is the list item, which is going to hold the names of the fruits that we're going to be creating, and it's going to be string. Okay, so I'm going to call this fruits. Alright, so that's it. And here I'm going to create a public constructor for public, and I'll call this fruits adapter, and I'm going to open this and I'll take in the context as well, and this is going to be like I'm going to call it context 2, and I'll call in the list too. The list is going to be string. Just put in the names, like I said earlier, the names of the fruits, each fruit. So I'm going to open that, and then I'll call this the context equals to context that's fruits equals to fruits, and we have created our context. So let's get back here. So this inflator is going to get from this particular context that we have up here, which is going to be representing any activity that we're going to be making use of this adapter in. And so I'm going to call that inflate, this is what we're going to call in the layout we've created, dot fruit item. This layout we've created up here. So the next thing the next parameter in there is going to be the parents, which is like the view group. Okay, and we're going to set the last one, which is like the attached to roots. We're going to set it to false. We don't really need that. Okay, so that is what you have to do. And here you have to return new view holder, and in here you're going to pass in the view. Okay, so basically that's all you have to do. Once this is created, this is going to inflate and call that particular fruit item for item number 1, and then a new item is going to be created for each of the item depending on how many items we have in there. And this is where we have to return the list item, which is the fruits.size. Okay, this is where we have to return the number of items that we have under your get item count. Okay, so that does the whole thing. And yep, one more thing we gotta do is under this unbind view holder, this is where you have to do all your settings or your referencing, because now we have access to each of the position of that particular item. Okay, so in here you can see your holder and you have the position. So what we want to do right here for each of those For each of the fruits, we want to actually pass in the name. We want to give the name to that particular fruit respectively. So what I'm gonna do right here is to call in I want to call holder.name, okay, dot set name, dot set text. What I'm gonna do next is, since our fruit is being stored in string, so I'm gonna create a variable that's gonna hold the name of the string for us for each of the position. Okay, so I'm gonna call this mfruits. Alright, so down here I'm gonna call the mfruits equals to the list of the fruits that we have. Okay, and I'm gonna call .get. Okay, now get that particular name. Okay, that particular name, the name of the fruit, the particular name of the fruit in that position, in each position, is gonna be stored in here. So I'm gonna set the name of that particular fruit from the view holder right here. And then I'm gonna set the name inside the set text, the mfruit. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just put in the mfruit in here. And what this is gonna do is, once this particular view is created, it's gonna go down to the view holder, which we have here, and we already referenced the name, okay, to that particular view holder up here, which we have as a name here. And if we go back to the fruit adapter, we already accumulated a class. We already called in the fruits, the list of the fruits, and the item count is going to be absolutely any number of fruits that we have is going to be populated. Okay, so if we have 2 fruits, now I created a variable that's actually holding the name for each of the fruits. That's why we have this position in here. So for each of the fruits, we want to take the name for that particular position and set the name of the fruit to that. Okay, so basically we're done with this for now, and let's move into our main activity and actually call in this adapter class and set it to our Recyclerview. So up here, what I want to do is to call in the fruit adapter, and I'm gonna give it a name, fruit adapter. And I'm gonna be needing a list item, okay, for the fruits, remember. And here I'm just gonna call string, okay, and I'll call it my fruits. Right, so down here I want to reference all that, so I'm gonna call the my fruit first of all, and I will set this equals to new array list. Okay, so that is gonna do that. And before we go ahead and put item inside this my fruit, I want to switch things a little bit, so I'm just gonna take this one up here and put it here. Okay, so for the Recyclerview, we have to set layout manager for the Recyclerview, and that is going to be layout manager. For now, I want to use a linear layout manager. So layout manager, I'm going to call this LM, and I'm going to set it equals to new linear layout manager. This is take the context, which is this. Okay, and so I'm going to pass calling the Recyclerview. And here I'm gonna set layout manager for the Recyclerview, okay, and layout manager, and I'm gonna pass the LM that I created up there, okay. And what next to do is to add items, okay, to this particular fruit we've created up here. So I'm gonna call my fruit.add, and I can add let's say apple, and I can call my fruit again. I can add let's say orange. You know, we can different views, just add different apples, the number of apples that you want. But for now, I'm just going to duplicate each of okay, so we can have a lot of items. Alright, so here now the next thing we gotta do is call in the fruit adapter. Okay, so the fruit adapter, and we're gonna call that initialize equals to new fruit adapter, and the fruit adapter is gonna take first argument is gonna be the context. Okay, remember when we created the constructor here, the constructor actually this is taking context, and the second one is gonna be our list item, which is the fruit list. Okay, so that's it. And I'm gonna go up here and I'll call in the context, which is this, and I'm gonna pass in my fruits that we've created up here. Now I'm gonna close that. Okay, I think this is giving us error. Let me see. Expected or argument. No, that is not true. Let's go back to a fruit. That's where we get error from. Okay, sorry, I forgot. This is not supposed to be void here for the constructor. And then you can pass your arguments right here. Okay, so there's nothing you gotta fix in here. Alright, so let's go back to our main activity and see. This should be gone by now. Okay, cool. So it's time to set our recycler view. Set our adapter to our recycler view. So I'm just gonna call me a recycler view to set adapter. And I'm gonna pass the fruit adapter. Okay, and yep, that's it. So when we run this program right now, we're going to see all this populated in the recycler view. Let's test the app and see what we got. Alright, our app is successfully created, and you can see right here we have it all spaced all the way up, and that's not a normal behavior. That's not a normal kind of the way we want it. So what we're gonna do right now is just go back to the editor and do some little changes on the layout, and this is gonna be fixed. So let's get right in. For you to fix that, it's very simple. The reason why that is just so spacious is because in a fruit item we have this to be matched, and we have the height to be matched parents. Just come in here and change this to wrap content, and that should fix the problem. So just go ahead right now and run the program so that we see it we see the way it looks now. Alright, so we can see right now we have the list of fruits on the screen, and so that is how you can create your data class with your recycler view and merge all together. We have this. This is amazing, and that's it. It's working perfectly cool right now. All right, let's make our item look a little bit more beautiful than the way it's looking right now. All we need to do is just go up here. Okay, and what we want is just set up the background of this particular item. Okay, I'm just gonna set up the background, the color of this text view, and I'm gonna call in the background here, and I'll set the color to white for now. Just go right to the left corner so that you can have different options. You're gonna see different options that you will use to get a beautiful kind of background that you want. So I'm just gonna come up here, I'm gonna put the background, and I want to make that a little bit dark, and so that is pretty much it. And I want to set, you can see the color of the fruits is a little bit dark, so I want to go ahead and set the text color. I'm going to set the text color to white. Okay, and I want the text to be bold, so that's going to come under the text style, and I'm going to call bold. And for the padding of the text, I want to make it a little bit more farther. So let me just call this padding 12. Let me just give it 12. And yep, this is cool. Let's run the program and see what we have this time around.
Okay, so we're still having a kind of closed in, the both of all the items are still closed in all together. I want them to be separately, independent, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now.
Alright, for you to achieve that, what you want to do is to come up here and set your margin. Okay, just on layout, you just want to set your margin top and margin bottom. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put in margin top, and I'm gonna set the top to 10, and for the bottom, I'm just gonna set bottom to be 10 dp as well. So I'm gonna call margin bottom, and I'll set that to 10 dp. And that should do the whole thing for us. And for the color, I just want to make it a little bit transparent, to the background black. And so that is okay. Now program and see what we have.
All right, so we can see right now we have it, a list or Recyclerview items are making sense. So you can tweak this to whichever way you want it. Okay, you can change the color, do whatever thing you want, and that's just gonna be it for right now.
If you find this video helpful or interesting, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so I can be able to provide more content, more interesting content like this. And that'll be it for now. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.